Hello and welcome to the Hearts and Hands celebration. My name is Chris Bates and I'm the current board chair for Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central and Northern Arizona. We've enjoyed putting this program together for you this evening. We know that you'll enjoy seeing the success of the house, how we've been able to continue to serve families through this COVID-19 pandemic and move the mission forward. So sit back and enjoy the show and know that we couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much.
And good evening to you and welcome to the 2020 Hearts and Hands celebration. I'm Susan Casper. I am elated to be with all of you this evening as we celebrate the mission of Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central and Northern Arizona. Here in studio, I am so excited to be joined by CEO of Ronald McDonald House, Carrie Schulman. Welcome, Carrie.
Oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you so much for being here this evening with us, and thank you to everyone at home for joining us tonight.
Yeah, we are in for a treat. We have such an exciting evening planned for all of you. We're going to have a lot of fun as well. I love the name of this event, Carrie, the Hearts and Hands celebration. And for all of you at home, we would love to see how you are enjoying the show. Please take a moment, not too long, snap a photo with you and your family of how you are celebrating at home. Be sure to use hashtag RMHCHearts to share your photo with us. Carrie, before we go any further, we should probably point out that this is a virtual event, not what we were expecting, right?
Right. This is very different, just like this year is very different for all of us. You know, the one thing that we would like to share with all of you at home is that pediatric illness and injury does not wait because of a pandemic, and the families that we serve need us now more than ever before. So thank you all for being here with us tonight.
Yeah, we are truly honored to have you with us. There are countless of generous supporters who have shared their hearts and their hands with Ronald McDonald House over the years, from giving their time and of course their talent to making donations to support families. Tonight is about celebrating those hearts and hands and the impact they have made for families throughout Arizona. We are so glad that you have joined us tonight and you've taken a little time to salute these families as well.
That's right, and I'd like to say a special thank you to our amazing friends at the Hotel Valley Ho, who gifted a 2-night stay at their incredible hotel that also includes breakfast at Cafe Zuzu. So this evening we'll randomly draw a name from everyone who's registered tonight, and if you make a gift you'll also be registered. So we're looking forward to announcing the winner.
Yes, we're going to do that a little bit later, so you cannot miss that. It's a great restaurant too. Hotel Valley Ho is a huge supporter. Since opening in 1985, Ronald McDonald House has earned the moniker the house that love built. And throughout the night, we will be sharing stories that have filled the house with so much love for the past 35 years. And Carrie, when we talk about the house, what we're actually talking about is 3 houses, right?
That's right, Susan. In Phoenix and in Mesa, we have 3 houses, and we have a total of 78 rooms, which we lovingly host families that stay with us while they're visiting and getting medical care for their children.
And I want to talk about the options that a lot of families have when they come here to the Valley.
Right.
When it comes to staying, what options do they have?
You know, it's really very limited for families when they come. So oftentimes they come with very short notice. A hotel is always an option, but gets rather expensive, especially for families who have longer stays. Some families choose to stay bedside. Again, long stays not an ideal situation for families, and unfortunately we have some families who stay in their car. So Ronald McDonald House really does provide a home away from home for these families.
Yes, the impact and the love that these Ronald McDonald House workers and all of the volunteers wrap their hearts and arms around these families. Talk about the importance of Ronald McDonald House.
You know, for us, we really feel so honored to be able to take care of families. When they leave wherever they're coming from across the state or across the country, they really give up everything. They are fighting for their child's life. And it's just an honor for us to be able to house them, provide meals for them, all the essentials that they would have if they were home, so that they can really just focus on caring for their children and getting them better.
Yeah, these families are so broken, and Ronald McDonald House makes them whole again. And I have had the pleasure of visiting Ronald McDonald House and speaking with some of those incredible families. And tonight is a celebration of their resiliency that have, of course, those families that are served at Ronald McDonald House. It's about a celebration of all of you, our generous community members as well.
Yeah, and speaking of Valley Ho, once again, thank you so much for all of your support. They have set up this wonderful meal, their chef at Cafe Zuzu for this evening. So some of you at home, I know, have ordered food and are preparing it alongside with us tonight this evening. So please enjoy your food and the drinks that go with it.
Yeah, it's been hard for us not to sample.
That's true.
It looks so delicious next to us. But you all go ahead and partake and enjoy. And also throughout the night, as we listen to some of the touching stories from the families served at Ronald McDonald House, we want to invite you to remember you have an opportunity to give. Pick up your phone and visit rmhccnaz.org/give. You can make a donation to support the families at the house. We've also given another convenience to you tonight. You can use the QR code. It will be up on the screen throughout the night. And Carrie, using that QR code, it's so simple to do. All you have to do, really, pull out your phone. You all have practiced this many times. Pull out your phone, point it to the camera, to the screen, and you're going to get that code, and voila, the donation link is going to pop up right there on your phone. We're making it so easy for folks at home to give. And Carrie, tell us a little bit more about all of those donations that we know will be pouring in tonight for Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah, so the donations that come in through this campaign and this evening, every single dollar goes right back into the house to run operations and provide the services that we offer our families. So when families come to stay with us, there is no cost for them to stay with us, and it costs about $107 a night for families to stay. So all gifts in any amount support our mission, and we're truly grateful.
Yeah, a lot of you may be wondering, well, what does my donation go to? That is where it goes. Such a worthy cause. And throughout the night, and through the generosity of a donor who wishes to remain anonymous, which I find that to be incredibly cool, all of your gifts tonight will be matched dollar for dollar, up to $10,000. So right now, you have an opportunity to double the impact.
Yeah, double the dollar. So please, if you're so inclined, we'd love to be able to bring in as much money for our families as we can.
Yes, and thanks, of course, to that anonymous donor for that incredible gift. We want to take a moment now to hear from one of our board members who has day-to-day interaction with these kids. We want you to watch a message from our board member, Dr. Moro Masoto, and he's going to tell us why it's so important to give and why he gives.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Moro Masoto. I'm the Chief Medical Officer at Banner Desert Medical Center. I give to the Ronald McDonald House because I've seen firsthand how families affect the well-being and the recovery of a child and the importance of them being at the bedside every step of the way. I am a proud supporter of the Ronald McDonald House, and I hope you'll join me in supporting families.
Thank you so much, Dr. Moro Masato. We appreciate you. And Carrie, we talked about this. This year has really taken us on a journey we never expected. But there are some things worth celebrating, including an important milestone for Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central and Northern Arizona.
That's right. So 2020 marks our 35th year of service here in the Valley with our houses, and we have provided over 56,000 nights of rest for families. So it's taken many generous hearts and hands through the years, and two special hearts to us are Judy Schubert and Suzanne Hansen, who are really the epitome of the heart of the house.
Yeah, it's okay to do a virtual clap. Go ahead and clap for these ladies. We want you to watch this video to learn how these visionaries brought the house to Phoenix years ago.
I'm Suzanne Hansen, and this is my good friend,
Judy Schubert, and we are the founders of the Ronald McDonald House.
My nephew was diagnosed with leukemia, and my sister was an hour and a half away from the Children's Hospital in Atlanta. And the Ronald McDonald House was just being started there, and she was telling me about it and how wonderful it would have been for her to have had it. And I came back remembering this and sharing this information with Judy, who was volunteering at St. Joseph's Hospital.
I was in the intensive care unit and the NICU and rocking the babies. That was one of my volunteer jobs. And saw all kinds of parents, especially the Native Americans who came down with their children, who were living in their cars in the parking lot. A couple came in, they were here with their child, and they were asking the lady at the desk where they should stay. And she told him the most economical would be down on Van Buren Street. And we about had a heart attack when we heard that. And we said, this is happening. And we were definitely validated by what we heard from the hospitals. So we had heads of hospitals, construction companies, everything we knew that we needed to get this house built. And we had 2 members who on their bicycles were riding around the area trying to find a good spot. And so they found this spot, which was an apartment building. And then Howard, Suzanne's husband, and Bill, mine, bought the property. And so we had property, and we had a loan from our husbands.
We started our venture in 1980, and the house opened in 1985.
Being affiliated with the whole system of Ronald McDonald Houses all over the world is really, really good for what works in one. You know, you can go get ideas from and share ideas.
Who knew that we would be planting a seed, if you will, for the kind of development to fulfill needs throughout the valley for children and families.
What a dynamic duo, Carrie, right?
They're amazing.
Oh, they are amazing, and it's so beautiful to see how far Ronald McDonald House has come in 35 years, and all because of Suzanne and Judy. Now, last year, the Three Valley Ronald McDonald Houses provided over 1,400 families with a place to call home while seeking medical care for their sick or injured child.
Yeah, and you know, really the families tell their story the very best. So we'd like for you to meet the Ramp family. They're from Sunflower, Arizona, and they've been with us for 80 nights at the house and counting. So please take a listen to their story.
Our son, Bo Ramp, was born August 14th at 4:10 in the morning, weighing 1 pound, 10 ounces, and he was 12 inches long.
So what happened was I was staying in Payson with my parents, and that's kind of when we started noticing some strange symptoms, but it was just like my feet were swollen, my blood pressure was a little elevated, but I was pregnant, so I didn't really think much of it. My blood pressure was through the roof. So I called my midwife, and I was like, what do you want me to do? It's my blood pressure. And she told me to go straight to OB triage here in Phoenix. They gave me a steroid shot to help the baby. They had me sign consent forms for an emergency C-section. Like, there's doctors everywhere. I'm sitting there like, what's going on? Like, so I called him and told him that they were admitting me. And then you guys, they decided to get you off the mountain.
Hot shotting is a lot of fun. It's one of the best jobs in the world. What's a better way to go fight fire and live in the outdoors? That's what I like to do. I do hot shotting 6 months out of the year. First train of thought was, okay, we need to get the ball rolling, let my supervisors know. Just a lot of people have to know what's going on to get me off the mountain. They were gonna bring a helicopter up. They tried, they couldn't land. So then we had to hike out to the nearest road. We drive 7 hours over to Redding, California. Next morning, got up, flew down to San Francisco, got another airplane, flew to Phoenix, drove to the hospital.
I ended up developing what's called HELP syndrome. It's a severe form of preeclampsia, so my liver enzymes were all over the place, my blood pressure was through the roofs, and they were worried about my organs shutting down. One of our doctors was saying that we need to be ready to go in for surgery at any moment. So after you deliver, as long as you're admitted still, you can stay at the hospital, obviously. So we were there for 4 days after we delivered. And so in those 4 days, our social worker, she got us in contact with the Ronald McDonald House. And she explained to us that that it's just a house that basically is there for us to be a home away from home, since obviously we can't go home. They were able to get us into one of their apartments so that we have 2 bedrooms, a little kitchenette, which was really nice for us because with Bo being in the hospital, I still have to pump for him and everything, so having like breast milk and everything, it's really nice to have like a kitchen set up where we can freeze milk and clean parts and cook a meal.
But it's so nice to have something so close. Like our house is almost 2 hours away, and being 5 minutes from the hospital is kind of eases the mind a little bit.
We were able to hold him the day before he turned a month old. So it was really, really hard to go in there and see him and not be able to hold him. So when we were finally able to pull him out, it was probably the best feeling in the world. There's not even words to thank you guys enough for what everyone has done for us. It's been absolutely amazing. They've been there through the good days, the bad. Even before we were admitted, they were reaching out. Is there anything we can do? Even now, like anytime we say anyone, it's how are you doing? They're just always there no matter what, and it's been an absolutely incredible experience. And it makes the roller coaster of the NICU just a little bit easier by having someplace where you can go, where you can feel safe, where you can see people that are just there to help you in whatever you need, and we couldn't thank you guys enough.
And what brave parents to be able to articulate how they were feeling, and it's so good, and I'm so happy to hear Bo is doing so well.
Yeah, they are doing really well, and baby Bo is doing amazing, and we'll be home for JC and Wyatt for as long as they need us. So this is a really good example for those of you who are with us tonight to really understand the impact of your donations and what they make to our families.
Yeah, we told you we were going to share these stories, and we hope that your heart has been as touched as ours have. Remember, there is a way for you to share your love with these families, like baby Bo's. Grab your phone, go to rmhccnaz.org/give. Don't forget that QR code is right there on your screen. You can make a monetary gift that way as well. Here is another message from one of our board members. This is Jill Hanks, who challenged her friends to step up and give.
I'm Jill Hanks. When the Hearts and Hands campaign first started, I knew I wanted to help, but I also thought, maybe I could make my donation go a little farther. So I reached out to a group of friends and created a friends challenge, challenging them to also lend a hand and promising that I would match their donations. Well, they delivered, and together we raised nearly $2,000. It makes my heart feel happy to know that our contributions will help give families a home away from home when they need it most.
Well, thank you, Jill. We love that challenge. And living in the Valley, we can sometimes take for granted the incredible medical care that we have right here at our fingertips. But many communities across Arizona, they are not as lucky, traveling sometimes hundreds of miles to the Valley for critical medical care that your child needs brings many additional challenges for these families. Where will they stay? Can they afford a hotel? What about food? That's what makes Ronald McDonald House so important. It takes care of each of those necessities for families so they can focus on what they should be focusing on, solely on caring for their child. Here to talk more about how the house helps support pediatric care is RMHC board member and radiation oncologist at Mayo Clinic, Dr. Samir Keoli. Hi, Dr. Keoli. So great to see you. Thank you for joining us. You have such a personal connection to the house. Can you start by telling us a little more about how you got involved with Ronald McDonald House?
Sure. Yeah, all my career I've been taking care of children with cancer. And so I've had hundreds of my patients and their families stay at the Ronald McDonald House. I never dreamed that we would, as a family, end up using the Ronald McDonald House when our daughter, who was born with a significant medical condition, needed to have advanced medical care. So we had to stay ourselves at a house. And being in that position and on the other side of the doctor-patient relationship is quite humbling. But then we realized how incredibly valuable the house is. I had an idea before that, but then I really understood. Because to be able to come in after a long day and not have to worry about where are we going to stay and there was food on the table. It made a very stressful time just a little bit easier to cope with. And now I really appreciate, and that's why I always have been involved with the Ronald McDonald House ever since.
Yeah, when your baby gets sick, everything else goes out the window. You just become a parent. And being a doctor and staying in this house, can you talk specifically about the services that Ronald McDonald House provides? Talk about that, the significance of that for these families as they're going through such a scary diagnosis.
I'd be happy to. So, you know, a lot of people think their cancer diagnosis is just about, you know, maybe a surgery or getting chemotherapy and or radiation therapy, and without question that's important. But a critical part of the supply chain is where are these families going to stay, because many of them come from outside the metro, the valley. Some of them are from out of state, and as Carrie talked about, you know, these are stays that go on in weeks and sometimes months, and cost to stay in a hotel is just not practical, not just from a cost standpoint, but it's not convenient to the hospital because families are in and out. So the house provides a convenience and a home that just is unrivaled. And I always tell the other board members, and we could not do our job in the hospitals taking care of these children without the Ronald McDonald House. They are just as important as any other part of the supply chain.
And we've heard the mission echoed throughout this evening, and we will continue to hear it. Relief. It is a safe haven for these families. Can you talk to us, Dr. Chioli, about the significance of having that family unit together when it comes to recovery?
Yeah, you know, this is we're always focused on the child, and that's where our focus is, but there's a family around the child, caregivers, parents, guardians, and this is an incredibly stressful time for them as well. And so sometimes it's the child's in the hospital, and in that support unit is staying at the house, and they find support with other families and other parents and guardians. And so I think it's really a healing environment every way, all the way around.
And very quickly, can you give a message to those who are watching this program tonight about the importance of giving back to Ronald McDonald House?
Yeah, this is a community effort. People might hear the name Ronald McDonald and think everything's going to be funded from some magical entity coming down from outside, but that's actually not how it works. While we have incredible relationships with Ronald McDonald's and the owner-operators, who we're incredibly grateful for, these are really local operations. These are grassroots efforts from the community. So we really rely on basically our friends and neighbors and community to help support the house. And so whether it's $5, $50, $500, or $5,000, whatever you feel you can give, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank you, Dr. Chioli, for your insight and for your passion in helping Ronald McDonald House, and for joining us tonight. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
And as we have heard, the house provides a treasured comfort and critical resources to families while they are going through the toughest times truly in their lives. And like the Rand family that you heard from earlier tonight, Ronald McDonald House has provided a home away from home for thousands of families each year. We want you to meet the Stein, Gutierrez, and Lucero families as they share with us the significance of the Ronald McDonald House when it comes to the recovery of their children.
This is Sadie Stein. When my daughter was 2 months old, she contracted RSV and she stopped breathing completely. We live in a very small town. Our hospitals pretty much don't do anything for children at all. As soon as a child gets sick, they send them out. They ran a bunch of tests and we found out while she was there that she had Sandifer syndrome. We would not have been able to do what we've needed to do for Sadie, for her doctor's appointments and her procedures, without this house.
We've had numerous days that are over a week there, and when you want to just fall down and give up on some things, it's always nice to go back home to the Ronald McDonald House. The donations are key to families like ours.
It means the world to us. when and ever she is better and we don't need the house anymore, it'll still be a part of our life and it will never leave us.
My name is Alex Gutierrez, my wife Rosa Gutierrez, baby Zoe Gutierrez. We're from Yuma, Arizona.
She's been through, I think, 12 surgeries. She's the most strong person I know.
Being out of your home, for several weeks is very financially draining. So at times, mom would be inside the hospital with the baby because mom gives her better care and help out the nurses, her being a nurse herself. And at times I would be asleep outside in the car in the garage, parking lot. We would take turns. So one of the social workers, I guess, asked her, where were we staying? And they told us about the Ronald McDonald House. Every time we step into the Ronald McDonald House, I can say just amazing people. It's a rare thing nowadays. People help people less, it feels like, and everybody's more closed. But Ronald McDonald, they helped us in the most difficult time of our lives. And that is what it was. And we will always remember that.
Hi, we're the Lucero family from Yuma, Arizona. And we stayed at Ronald McDonald House for
19 nights.
With Elliot here while he was in the hospital.
Yeah.
And
I think if our math is right, we stayed for 497 nights when John was receiving care at the hospital. We love Ronald McDonald House because I think sometimes it's easy to take for granted a lot of the basics, like where you're going to sleep or what you're going to eat for dinner. And in a time of crisis, like when your kids are sick, those things can become very stressful. And Ronald McDonald House just wipes that stress away. They create such a welcoming, warm environment that it's not just that they're taking care of your basics. It becomes home. We've made a lot of lifelong friends who we love dearly. I don't think we could adequately express in words what Ronald McDonald House has done for us and what they mean to our family. We love you, Ronald McDonald House.
And Carrie, whether it's a few nights or hundreds of nights, as we just heard, Ronald McDonald House is steady. They are that steady support.
We do everything we can to take the burden off of the families when they're with us, and they really become a part of our family when they're with us. So it's nice to see these families doing so well.
Yes, absolutely. And these families are doing well because of your generosity. Don't forget that our code, our QR code, it's right there on the screen. It will be there throughout the night. Just scan it, use the camera on your phone, scan that code, and you can give. And we encourage you to give a gift that is comfortable to you so that these families can continue to get supplies and the things that they need. Now, earlier this evening, you met them, Judy and Suzanne, the dynamic duo who wrote the plan for opening the house while snowed in a pine top cabin, and then lead the charge for opening the house in 1985. But when their paths crossed with local McDonald's owner-operators, the trajectory of the home took a brand new form.
So our local McDonald's owner-operators have supported the house for 35 years. They support in the restaurants when you drop your change in the canisters or you round up at the registers. They serve on our board of directors, and they're strong leadership for our community.
That's right, and we want you to meet two of them, Chris Carney and Wayne Stingley. They are two of the local McDonald's owner-operators in the Valley. They are also Ronald McDonald House board members, and they are a part of the charity that gives. They stopped by our studio earlier today to talk about their commitment to serving our community.
My name is Wayne Edward Stingley. I'm a McDonald's owner-operator of 39 years. Some years ago, I found out that my granddaughter had muscular dystrophy, and she was being taken care of at the Phoenix Children's Hospital. I was there with my daughter and my granddaughter, and she was having a medical exam done, and the doctor was telling us where she was and what was going on with her at that time. And she looked out the window, and she said, "Papa," and I said, "Yeah, honey." She said, "They're building a Ronald House out there." And I says, yes, they are. You work for the Ronald House, don't you? And I say, yes, I do, baby, I do. And the doctor says, do you? I said, well, yeah, in a way. And I explained that I was on the board and that I was one of the people who was raising money to build that Ronald McDonald House out at Phoenix Children's Hospital. And, you know, this was my granddaughter, who was 7 years old at the time. Well, we lost her at 19. But, you know, it was those visits to the Ronald House and the way that she was taken care of, you know, that sort of made a big difference in my life. The message is a little bit goes a long way, because your money is very responsibly used. If you're making a donation, it's like, would you like your change to go into the box? We round up to the nearest dollar and that money goes to the Ronald House. It helps us support those families that otherwise would not have the opportunity to be with their kids when their kids need to be hospitalized. And in some cases, the kid needs to be in the hospital and the parent lives far away. We have a place that brings the families together so that parents can participate with their child or children when they're in the house, and it keeps the family close. It makes a big difference to family. Those of us who ever had a sick child, and I'm one of those, know how important it is to just be there, to be able to make a contribution, that is, in terms of their care, to be able to say something to the doctor, to understand what's going on with your child, and to participate in that.
Hi, my name is Chris Carney. I'm an owner-operator here in Phoenix, and I'm also on the board of directors for the Ronald McDonald House. Thank you for all those out there who are donating and giving to the Hearts and Hands campaign. It's so important right now. In the middle of this pandemic, everything's changing. The way we behave is changing. You know, the way that we do things is changing. The ways we operate in business is changing. But there's one thing that doesn't change, and it's a need for these families to be with their kids during these uncertain times. I mean, as a new father, to have to see these families and what they go through. And the average stay, you know, you would think would be a couple days. It's 17 days is the average amount that these families are staying at the Ronald McDonald House. So that's a long period of time. So to be able to be with their kids side by side, have a good meal, have a place that they can sleep, is just so incredibly important. So thank you so much for your donations. We appreciate it, and thank you.
Wow, we promised a night of heartwarming stories, and Carrie, I have to say, all of the stories tonight have certainly delivered.
They have indeed. They have indeed. You hear the stories, and each time you hear them, you think it just can't draw that emotion, and it just continues to really remind us all of why we do what we do. So, you know, again, the donations that we receive, they really allow families during a very difficult time to stay stronger together, and our families are definitely stronger together.
Yeah, we heard Dr. Keoli just talk about that. That's a part of the healing, staying together, and because of you, these families are able to do that. And there is still time to make a gift to the house. We encourage you again, pick up your phones, go to rmhccnaz.org/give, scan the QR code. That is another way to do that on the screen, to be a house hero. And don't forget, you also have the opportunity to double your gift. All of your donations being matched tonight, dollar for dollar, up to $10,000. And right now, we want to check in with one of our board members. This is Chico Sweeney, who says she's all in for the house.
Hello, my name is Chico Sweeney. I have been a volunteer, supporter, and board member of Ronald McDonald House for years. Every time I'm at the house cooking dinner for the families with my Copper Point Big Macs group, I'm reminded of how much a warm meal, a cozy bed, and a place of comfort is to the families as they stay as guests at the house. Ronald McDonald House provides families with comfort and hope when they need it most. That is why I am committed to making a gift to the house, so that every family that stays here can experience that same feeling of home.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. And as we promised, this has been such a magical night, Carrie.
It has been indeed.
I feel like we need a drum roll because we have two final announcements. Carrie is going to first reveal to all of you at home how much money the Hearts and Hands campaign has raised thanks to all of you out there. Your generosity is greatly appreciated.
Yes, thank you so much to everyone in our community who's had a heart for the families and cares about the mission of the Ronald McDonald House. Right now, to date, we have raised a total of $571,249 for the house.
Wow, that is incredible. Over
Thank you.
$570,000. I am so excited to be a part of a community that believes in giving back. I mean, that is what this is about. And we are thinking about all of those families out there, and to find a place of comfort and hope at Ronald McDonald House. It is because of you. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. And in the spirit of giving back, Carrie is going to give back to all of you out there. Wish we could give one to everybody, but we can't. She's going to now announce the winner of the 2-night stay at Hotel Valley Ho, and thank you again for your sponsorship.
That's right. So the winner is Sarah Begley. Congratulations,
Yes.
Sarah. She's been a tremendous supporter of the house for a very long time. Enjoy your time away at the Hotel Valley Ho.
Yes, congratulations, Sarah. I know you probably need a little getaway, so congrats to you. And thank you again for all of your generous donations who help make the 2020 Hearts and Hands campaign such a success. This doesn't happen, as you know, Carrie, without all of you. And now, while you were, of course, watching tonight, you may have said, this is a really great event. We want to tell more folks about it, your family, your friends. We want you to do so as well. If you enjoyed tonight's celebration, we will be broadcasting this celebration again. It will be available to you. You can rewatch it anytime on the website, rmhccnaz.org, or you can watch it right here on YouTube.
Yeah, from the bottom of my heart and everyone at the house and our board of directors, thank you all so much. And this is such a great way to keep the celebration going.
Absolutely. It's been a tough year. We know it has. And so thank you for taking time out to join Carrie and I and all of the volunteers and the folks who've put this event on. Thank you for joining us tonight, the Hearts, and of course for all of you who've lent a hand to support the families. As you've heard, togetherness is what it takes. From all of us at Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central and Northern Arizona, we thank you for joining us. We wish you continued health, happiness, and many moments of togetherness to come. Have a wonderful weekend.